Yo, what's good, gamers? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terao, PsychSensei, and I'm super stoked to be here on a Tuesday, and we made it almost on time. My goal is to be here on time every single time, but we're still getting into the swing of streaming and stuff, so although that's an excuse, we're getting there. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to Office Hours. Basically, in the next hour, I'll be discussing a topic, and today's topic is how to climb. And we're going to be talking about the mental aspects, of course, to climb, or the way to mentally approach the climb, and not really the actually execution of your mechanics, because I'm going to leave that to you. But how can you mentally approach climbing or improving or doing better in your games? That's today's topic. If you want to learn more about me and what I do, please visit my website, PsychSensei.com. There, I newly updated everything, so there you can make a meeting with me individually if you want to find your win condition and start working towards it today. Under that tab, you can give me all your information and also select a day and a time that you'd like to meet for that consultation meeting. I'm making it so easy for you. Also, on my website, if you want to, you can visit some resources that I have there. You can also visit my YouTube, my Instagram, my Twitter at the PsychSensei. You can also get my Discord. And in my Discord, oh my fucking god, I didn't do it. That's okay. We'll work on it. Next time you can join my Discord and join me for my spaces or my places. What do they call it? Whatever the Discord thing is, when you can go and join the audience and ask your questions live. But that doesn't mean that you can't also chat and put your questions in here and it will, or here, and we'll get them answered, all those kinds of things. I'd love this show if it's more interactive. It's not, it's just me talking to myself for an hour. And it's fine because all the voices in my head say that it's okay. But yes, please visit my website, PsychSensei.com, and visit my Discord also. If you're interested in taking studies or being parts of studies, you can also go to my Discord under the Experiments tab, and you can take my experiment for yourself. And it's really cool because it's an experiment that you've never seen before. It's made by gamers like myself, for gamers like you, and it's ungameable. You can try to see what I'm looking for, but you can't really skew my results. So just check it out. It's really, really cool. And that's in my Discord. But yeah, I hope everyone is having a good day today. If there's other topics that you want me to talk about or things that you have questions about, please just put them in the chat and we'll take it from there. Sounds good? Awesome. Well, I hope everyone is doing okay. And shall we just jump into it? Okay. So also, if this text is too small, you let me know. And if you see me looking that way, I'm just looking at the snow because apparently there is going to be another winter storm. That's right. I've been shoveling snow for like 3 days straight, and I'm over it. But there's more slices coming in this snowstorm. So I'm just gauging how much more of my back will be doing in this shoveling. But yeah, so today's topic, I thought it'd be really awesome to talk about how to climb. Not physically. I mean, we can, physically talk about how to climb, but I'm talking about mentally. How to mentally put yourself in the right spot so you can climb and get the results that you want while saving the mental, or at least making the mental feel congruent to what you're doing. Make sense? So, if you have any tips or tricks or found things that worked for you that helps you climb, please put them down in the chat too. I would love to hear it because I need some tips too for when I'm trying to climb. Right now, personally, I'm playing me some Wild Rift. That shit is awesome. Yeah, that's the competitive game I've chosen to like dabble in right now. Wild Rift. Come join the fun. It's actually really fun because now I can actually jungle, but before I couldn't jungle at all because that took a lot of skill mechanically. But now I can just do it very simply, and it's awesome. I can actually play Lee Sin and feel good about myself. So there's that. If you want to climb, my first suggestion is that you shout out to Casper Do. Number one, paint the picture. What do I mean by that? Paint the picture as in, when you think about what you want to do, where you want to go, how high you want to climb, how long you think it's going to take you to do all these things, this is what I mean. I mean, literally have like a mental picture of what you think it would be like, what do you think the challenges you're going to encounter and how it's going to be. Maybe even thinking about a structure or a routine that you want to incorporate so you can climb at a consistent rate. So basically, painting the picture means having a mental plan or mentally going through what it may feel like trying to climb this, how long it may take you, setting your expectations. Maybe it's all those things. Let me write this down. Okay, expectations, time, challenges, how it will feel. It's your plan. I would say mentally paint the picture, right? So again, having a plan, having a structure, at least thinking of one that would work for you, thinking about how it's going to feel as you try to climb, maybe those setbacks, how that's going to feel, what's your plan to when you actually do have a setback, what are your expectations of the entire journey, you know, how long do you think it's going to take you, the time and dedication that you're going to have for this climb, or other challenges that may get in your way, right? Painting this mental picture of what it's going to be like, feel like, all these things will help you anticipate some of the problems or excitements or leaps and bounds that can happen along the journey. Why I'm saying that you should probably do this before you actually start your climb is because if you don't set your expectations correctly, or if you set incorrect expectations, what's going to happen is as you continue to go on this journey and things happen when you don't expect them to, you may feel worse, you may be more inclined to throw in the towel, you may be less motivated. You know, all these things kind of can come up when you're thinking about the climb if you don't think about it. So my first suggestion of where to start is paint that mental picture of what it's going to feel like, be like for you. So when those things happen, you're more prepared instead of being like, oh, that's a surprise, I don't know what this is, it's over, GG. All right, my suggestion number two. Be open to experience. And, well, now that I say this, some people might say, well, Ryan, doesn't being open to experience kind of go against the first point you gave of painting the picture mentally? And, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, no. And this is what I mean. Sure, painting the picture mentally is going to help you set your expectations. It's going to help you have an understanding of what it's going to be like embarking on this journey. At the same time, why I'm saying be open to experience is be open to the things that happen along the way. Everything's not going to go to plan. Everything is not going to go exactly how you thought it was going to go. Some days are going to be really awesome and you're going to climb and get a lot of points or win a lot of games one day, but then the next day you're going to be losing just as many games or maybe even more. You know, but the most important thing along the journey, along the climb, is not to be so rigid, is not to get stuck on the nitty-gritties. Instead, what's going to be more important is that you be open to the experience, you be open to the opportunities, open to the lessons that the game will give you. Some days it may seem that we're moving backwards, but at the same time, in all those losses and all those setbacks along the climb, it's going to be very important that you really look for those little lessons, the little things, the little tidbits that you can take away to improve your game, improve your knowledge, improve your philosophy, whatever system you're creating around actually understanding the game. And really, I hate to break this to you, but the best way to learn and probably the most effective way to learn is to lose. And I mean, you can visit my other previous talks that I talked about, you know, how to win through losing. At the same time, why it's so important to be able to take away those lessons through those losses is because if you're actually able to sit down and think about, okay, why did I lose? What was the thing that made me not have a favorable outcome? How did I throw this lead away? Why did my opponents do these kinds of things? Like, if you're actually able to be open to experience and be away from the expectations or divorce yourself from the negative feelings or the connotations that come with losing, the more opportunities that you'll see, the more things you can take away, and then the more things you can basically apply to make yourself a better version of yourself, a better version of the player of yourself or whatever. But it's thinking about the whys, the hows, and being open to this experience of maybe the experience is also losing. Maybe the experience could also be, on the other hand, winning and thinking about how did I win this game versus, oh man, that win felt so good. I guess that's it. Versus, okay, this win did feel good. Why did I win? Why did I win so hard? What are the things that I can continue to do in the next game and the next game and the next game so I can continue to win and keep the streak going? Dissect why you are winning? Oh, I just had another thought of like being open to experience. That's it. I was gonna put be curious under be open to experience. But now that I think about it, you know, curiosity on its own, I think, is such an important value. It's such an important thing to have because what I love about curiosity is that at its heart, it's non-judgmental. And why that I love that it's non-judgmental is this is why it kind of leans itself to being open to experiences. Well, if you're being curious about something, to me, curiosity, it seems like that 3-year-old that just like learned the question why. It doesn't know the word no. It only knows the words yes and why and maybe mommy and ma, and dada or whatever. But you know, like what I'm saying is like it doesn't know many words. And because it doesn't know many words, it's just open. It's just, what does this thing do? What is this thing about? Why is this happening? When is this happening? Do I like it? Why do I like it? Do I not like it? Why do I not like it? Ooh, that was weird. Well, was that weird? Like, being curious allows you to ask these kinds of questions. It's non-judgmental, so you don't feel stupid. You don't feel dumb. You don't feel like everyone's judging you. Oh, not judgmental. You know, not everyone's looking at you or criticizing you for what you think or what you are doing or wondering about or thinking about. Instead, it just allows you to be present in this moment and really mentally dissect what is happening. Why is it happening? When is it happening? And why being curious really helps is because it helps you find the patterns. And when you think about games, and when you think about esports in general, I guess I would even extend this to life. When you think about all these things, like, it's about finding the patterns. Everything in games has a pattern to it, has a timing to it, has a frequency to it. And, you know, whether you can pick that out or not, it's not uncommon to see ebbs and flows of a game. Or when you see this happen, it means that other thing is happening within the next 10, 20, 30 seconds. Or when I see this person move around the map, this could also mean 3, 4, 5 different things. But to be open and understand what that pattern is, you have to be curious to even see it. You have to be open to think and wonder about what it means when this thing happens. What does it mean when this person does this? What does it mean when this person says this? And so, if you really want to climb, it's important that you be curious so you can be observant and see what's happening, when it's happening, and put those things all together and help you find the pattern. And then once you find the pattern, you can then understand why the pattern is, how the pattern works, when the pattern happens. And then if you can identify all those things, the next piece is learning how to manipulate that pattern, how to throw off the timings, how to put in your own timing to make the timings different for you to make sure that the play that you want works out in the way that you want. But that all happens from being curious, from being open to the experience of what's happening. Number 4, if you really want to learn how to climb, number 4, it's really important that you learn how to both lose and win. This kind of has, you know, I'm linking all these things together. They all run together, but at the same time, they're all very, very important. So what do I mean when I mean it's important how to lose and how to win? It's really interesting because, you know, honestly, like I'm rewatching all the VODs that I'm like putting together after all the Twitch discussions or talks that I put on. And the last thing that I was listening to, or the last thing I was talking about in one of the VODs that I was watching, was tilt. And how the definition of tilt, or what the definition of tilt is basically letting your emotions catch you and take over your mind. And instead of thinking about what's happening right here in this present moment, what you want to do in the game, instead you're allowing your emotions to hijack your frontal lobes, and it's instead controlling what you see, what you think, just because of how you feel. And so why I'm linking this back to learning how to lose and learning how to win is beware of the emotions. May they be very strong negative emotions, angry, hurt, sad, or may they be very positive emotions, happy, elated, whatever strong, happy, positive emotions there are. And the reason why I'm saying beware of both, positive or negative, nay, all of the emotions, is because if we are unaware of how the emotion is affecting how you think, what you see, how you interpret, what story you've created around this thing because of how it feels, well, if you allow it to be unproductive, if you allow those emotions to get the better of you, if you just focus on the goodness or badness of this thing, again, going back to number 2, you're no longer allowing yourself to find the necessary things that you need to continue to win or to come back from that loss. And so when I say learn how to lose, I'm not saying don't be sad. I'm not saying like don't care or just FF and give up or whatever. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is it's important for you to understand what is the most important thing to take away from this experience, and making sure that you're focusing on those things. Just like if you win really hard or really big, what's going to happen is sometimes you don't take away the lesson, or you don't take that further step of thinking about how come, and instead all you really think about is, oh my god, I won, I'm the best, I'm the man, they're shit, I can't believe we did that, look at us go. I mean, don't get me wrong, these are all awesome natural things to think or awesome natural things to feel. But at the same time, if we don't look further, we're no longer getting those deeper lessons about the game or the patterns or the reactions or those things that we can learn or see to get us consistent wins in the future. Also, when I think about how to lose, first step is not to point fingers. And when I say point fingers, not at yourself, not at your team, not at the situation, but instead taking a more non-judgmental perspective. Instead, after that loss, take some time. Yes, again, a little bitch and moaning goes a long way. So, after you complain, after you bitch and moan, after you find your center again, the most important thing that you can do is take a couple of steps back, watch that VOD, and as you're watching the VOD, resist the temptation and the urge to point out, oh my god, this was so stupid, I can't believe they did this, I can't believe I made this mistake, oh my god, I whiffed, like all these small little minute details. And instead, the challenge is, when you are thinking about that mistake, when you are thinking about that personalization, when you think about the blame or whatever, the challenge is, one, being aware of when you're doing it. And the next step after that is, okay, let's dissect this mistake. Let's really go into and find why this happened. And if I can reverse engineer what happened, why it happened, when it happened, what I was looking at when it was happening, now you can begin to learn to look at the pattern. Instead of just focusing on the, oh my gosh, I can't believe this was so stupid, why did they, etc., etc., etc. I mean, you can go down that path, but at the same time, what I'm thinking about is, how often does that path produce something fruitful? Or how often does that path produce something useful for the next time? And I don't know about you, but when I do that to myself, the things that I only take away was how stupid this was, or how dumb I was, or how freaking bonkers the game was, and it was just useless. And when I find myself saying like, well, this will never happen again, or I can't really take anything away from this game, that's the time where I actually look deeper into the game. Because as soon as I say, oh my god, this was so bad, there's nothing valuable here, that's when I know for sure something is valuable, is there. Even if the thing that's valuable is looking back and watching my mistakes and controlling my emotions as I watch the thing that's super annoying or super tilting. Because if I know that I can watch this thing over again when it's super tilting or super bad, and I can better regulate my emotions or my thoughts or refocus my thoughts on something more productive, I know that I'm practicing that same skill for when it happens in game, when it happens in the big moments, in the big tournaments, because I know that if I practice regulating myself and choosing consciously, intentionally, what I want to look at, what I want to focus, what I want to shift from, then I know that when it comes to those bigger moments or those higher, more stressful games happen, I know that I can automatically do that, or I know that I have that skill. And what we're talking about here, these mental things, what we're talking about, my friends, is we're talking about skills, right? We're talking about things that you can learn and develop over conscious, focused, intentional efforts. Some people may be more naturally talented in doing these mental reframes, or maybe they just have a natural inclination to mental strength. That being said, just because others may be more naturally inclined to these skills does not mean that you can't pick them up with some time and some effort. And I'm just here to introduce the thoughts. I'm just here to introduce the concepts, and you can take them and, run with them. Of course, that's what I hope you're doing. So be aware of the emotions. Ooh, maybe it's not even, it's being aware of the emotions and, all right, be aware of the emotions, push past the emotions, and know what to take away. Pro tip, not just the emotions. But more importantly, what do you want to learn? Number 5, this is really important. Number 5, be aware of your self-talk. Be aware of your self-talk. I cannot stress this more. Why I'm saying be aware of your self-talk is because your self-talk, as automatic as it is, to me, when I listen to it into teams, into VODs, individual players when they're playing, why I'm saying beware of your self-talk is because the things that you tell yourself may, as true as you want them to be or as false as you want them to be, what you say externally to me when I listen to it is basically a little hint. It helps me glean a little into the mind of that person to think about what they're thinking about, what they're paying attention to, what they're focusing on. May they be flinch comms. Fuck, what's that guy doing there? Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Oh my god, I'm griefing. I'm so tilted. What am I doing? May they be flinch comms or these small little slips. Maybe these pieces of your self-talk, maybe from a different perspective, there are little mental Freudian slips about what you're actually thinking, what you're actually feeling, and what, like I said, you're actually paying attention to. So why it's important to pay attention to the things that you're telling yourself is, well, one, you're telling yourself these things. There's no one else telling you them. If you think, oh my god, I'm so stupid, it's not an external person or teammate or coach or Twitter troll telling you this. Instead, it's you telling yourself this. And why I think that's so dangerous is because if you keep telling yourself this and no one else is providing you with this external reinforcement of the things that you're thinking, and instead it's just you telling yourself over and over and over and over again, I'm stupid, I'm trolling, I'm griefing, I'm bad, I'm not gonna be able to do this, why'd I do this, oh my god. If you have this consistent internal dialogue going on, what do you think you're paying attention to? What do you think you're experiencing, you're feeling when you're putting yourself down? Better question, why are you putting yourself down? Why are you telling yourself these crazy, nasty things? And, I've heard some really interesting responses to, this question when I hear some not so nice self-talk, like friend, why why do you tell yourself this? I've gotten some people to tell me that, well, I tell myself these things because, if I cut myself down first, then whatever someone else says, it doesn't matter, or no one can beat me up as, hard as I can. And when I think about that, I think about like the older sibling. No one can beat up my little brother or sister more than I can, or, better than I can, or whatever. But I'm digressing. But like, other people will say that like, well, this is actually what I think of myself. And, if I don't set, high expectations for myself for what I can do, then I'll never be disappointed when I don't perform my best, or when I'm not able to do that thing consistently. And so it makes, the fall or the loss not as hard because, in some weird way, I knew it. So when I hear these things, or when I think about self-talk, the things that I really wonder is, well, first, why are you telling yourself this? And then my second question that I always ask is, how does this help you? Does the things that you're telling yourself, do they help push yourself forward? Do the things that you're telling yourself, do they, motivate you to be better? Do they push you to try harder? Do they, really help you in a way that's productive? And if not, interesting. Let's think about those things. Yo, what's up, Yami? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Yami, welcome. Do you have any tips and tricks of, how you climb, or what the things that you really focus on to help you get better, my friend? I'm just spewing ideas and things about how to climb. But yeah, if there's any tips and tricks that you have, or any questions you got, my friend, put them on down in the chat. I'm so excited that you're here. Another really interesting thing when you're thinking about your self-talk, or your YouTube, brother, I just blast music. Well, that works, baby. That works. I'll put it right here. Paint the picture mentally. And you know what? Actually, for you, Yami, I actually think that this is the metaphor. For you, Yami, this is number 6. Thank you for contributing. And I think it also kind of relates to beware of your self-talk, actually, where we're gonna take this one. Blast that music. I love it. Put this in quotations. And you know what? I'll actually tag you. I used to do 5 push-ups every death, like a dumb death, bro. Yo, actually, Yami, fun fact, I used to do a stream where it was like a workout stream, and what I would do would be like, okay, X amount of deaths were something, kills were something, and assists were something. And I do push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. And I did a lot of push-ups, bro, because I died a shit ton. But I do like that technique where you're incorporating movement and physicality into your games. Any way that you can find that, for sure, for sure. Make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. That's fire, bro. I'm telling you. Get swole while you get sad. Okay. So I really like what you said. Number 6 for you, Yami, blast that music. And, when you said this, what it made me think of is listening to your own music and not concerning yourself with everything else that's going around, which I think is so important when you're trying to climb. It's also because you won't want to die. Fair. So you play smarter. Or you play like a bitch. One of the two. But yeah, I didn't grief as hard because after a while I was like, bro, I need to stop doing push-ups because I can't do it anymore. Absolutely. So when I hear my own music, when I think about the things that I want to do, the things that are in my head, I'm less likely, especially if I'm blasting my own music, I have my music in my headphones, I'm listening to what I want to do, where I want to go, the things that are important to me, and I'm not listening to the unimportant things, the noise per se. I'm not listening to the haters. I'm not listening to myself, my own self-critiques, my own negative self-reinforcement, or my own negative self-talk. Instead, I'm just blasting the music about what I want to hear. I'm just blasting the music and thinking about the things that I want to do. I'm just blasting my own music that's going to push me forward instead of listening to all the other things that are around me. So tuning out the noise. I think That's so important when you're trying to climb because there's so much noise out there. And I think it's crazy. I mean, relating this to the self-talk, even the internal noise that we have for ourselves, I think sometimes is insane, right? But oftentimes we got like people all chatting us. We got people on Twitter. We got people out there trying to hold us back from what we want to do. You know, all those things, we can choose to tune it out by blasting our own music, thanks Yami, and doing the things that we want to do and focusing on the things that are important to us and fucking the rest. Absolutely. When I throw on some Kanye, it's just straight frags. Well, I mean, you know why? It's because you have the power of Jesus on your side when you blast you some Kanye. Or some other powers that we won't talk about right now. Also, staying focused even pre-round. Absolutely, absolutely. So that's number one. You're doing, bro, look at you. I mean, you come in first, like you just come back and you're doing all the things that, you know, you need to climb. You're staying focused even in the pre-round. And I bet you in that pre-round, you are painting the picture mentally about what you want to do, how it's going to feel, the timings of things, what might be happening, the challenges, all of it. So my brother, you are doing exactly what you want to be doing. Very good, very good. That's number one, painting the picture mentally. Number 7, know when to stop. Oh, my mind went somewhere. Okay, know when to stop. Why is this important? Because motivation is good. Effort is good. All these things are amazing. Keep doing those things. But it's important to take a break. It's important to stop. It's important to set some boundaries around the climb, around how much time you spend doing it. Because yes, you could be amazing. Yes, you could be built different. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, my friend, you are still bound by time, by the human condition, by energy, all these things. I mean, the Krebs cycle, I don't know, being a human and being an animal, like you are just bound to running out of energy, to becoming fatigued, to becoming distracted the more time you spend doing something. So it's important that you understand or set boundaries over how many games you want to play, when you're going to stop playing, maybe even around, you know, a break routine, a resting routine, like building and incorporating all these things. So when it happens, or when you hit this boundary or this number of games, or you know, 3 games in a row, whatever, that when you hit this boundary, you can say, okay, I've done enough today. This is where I want to stop. And this is when I'm going to be stopping. And then you can disconnect from the game. You can disconnect from the grind. You can disconnect from the climb and just chill and be. And even though you may want to keep going, even though you may want to keep pushing, there is this thing called diminishing returns. It's one of my favorite concepts, actually, diminishing returns. And if you haven't heard this term because you weren't a business major, when you've never taken a business 101 class, it's totally fine. The best example of diminishing returns that I can give you, and all diminishing returns are basically you're doing something and you think it's going to give you a certain result, so you keep doing more of it, but at a certain point you hit a point where even if you do more, you're not going to get as much as you did before. The best example that I can give you is like, okay, you know, one of my favorite things to do is to like go eat all you can eat sushi. Like all you can eat sushi is like my jam. And why I love it is because, like, I love the challenge of how much can I fit in my body before I feel like I'm going to just throw up, you know, or just, like, not good things are going to happen. I am that dude that will eat, not till he's uncomfortable, but, like, I'm going to need some time to sit here because I'm going to die. That's the kind of person I am. Don't tilt Q. Yes, absolutely don't do that. Also, something that is underrated is get a big bowl of cold water with ice and just put it on your whole face in it. Just... That's some underrated tech. Yes, sir. Business major. Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, this is what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing just like you with like, not even a Pyrex, bro. Just like a plastic like bowl for candy, you know what I mean? Just like a plastic bowl that you have on the side, and then like you got some ice, like an ice like bowl or something, and like every once in a while you like scoop and just put it in, and you're like after like I just see like defeat come up, and you're like, shh, boom. Bro, I want to see that pic. Drop it in my Discord. I want to see that pic. Drop it in, like, or put it on my Twitter, bro. I want to see the setup. And just like bowl of water, slamming your face in, screaming uncontrollably, or just like screaming and just like flaming everyone from that last game. And then this is the key of the visualization. Just the slow up, water dripping down, and you're like, I'm good. It gives you energy. I can do it after games. Yeah, bro. Like, I mean, whatever works, dude. I want to see the actual, like, please post it on my timeline. I want to see the actual process of, like, the video of the water, the ice, because I don't think you do it like hot water, right? I just want to see the bowl, the ice, the face slam, and then just like the collection after, like those 3-4 scenes. That's what I want to see, Yami. Number 8, look for points in your improvement. Why is this so important? I think, honestly, this is right there with self-talk, right there with curiosity. Oh, Isa, what's up, baby? Have you put in play for the win? No, I haven't. I haven't. And I haven't said put in play for the win, because true, if you want to climb, you have to play to win, or you have to try to win. But here's the thing. Sometimes if you play too much to win, you don't learn. And why it's important to learn is it's important to understand what you're doing it, what's working, and why it's working. And why that's important is because if you can understand those things, or you can look for those things, you find the pattern, what's going to happen is you're actually going to learn how to replicate what happened into this game, which may never happen ever again, because you're seeing these situations for the first time, or seeing these situations just once. But if you're unable to learn and duplicate it and see it, you're unable to take this one instance and fit it into other situations. So that's why I'm not saying play to win, even though it's important. I'm saying, if I was going to switch it for you, I'm saying play to learn. That is how you climb consistently. Fair. I see you. I see you. Also, if it's all mental, if I'm having the worst game, I'm giving the best comms, full IGL. Hey, you know, that's another thing too. You're taking something away, focusing on something else to get you the results, or shifting your focus onto something else that you want to be learning to get you better results. That's awesome too. Number 8, why I think that looking for your points of your improvement is so important is because how often do we climb a little bit, or we, rank up, or we feel like we're doing well, but then what do? We look for all the ways that we still suck. We look for all the ways in which we're not at that place we want to be at yet. We look at all the things holding us back, or all the mistakes we still continue to make. And then what happens? Well, because we focus on all those things, we're no longer as motivated. We're no longer as happy with our results. And we're no longer, actually able to acknowledge the ways that we're getting better. And if we're unable to see the way that we're growing, if we're unable to see the things that we're doing, we don't acknowledge them. We don't give ourselves that, own dopamine hits of, wow, I'm actually doing well. And we stagnate. We stop. We stop trying as hard, or we get tilted faster because, oh my gosh, here it goes again. I can't believe I'm doing this. So it's important, nay, it's imperative that you find the ways that you're improving, you acknowledge how you're getting better, and you see how you are growing, not just as a player, but I also say as a person through your, journey of becoming, through your journey of climbing, through your journey of attempting to achieve, to push past your limits. I think if you can even translate the things that you're doing in game to in your life, man, now we're using games on a higher level. They're no longer just some things that we spend some time in or connect socially with our friends. No, now we're actually able to take the things that we're doing for fun, and now we're actually putting them in a real world context for you to continue to grow and to climb, not just in game, but in life. If you're able, for example, to be open to experience. You know, I don't really feel like going to this concert. I don't really feel like going out with my friends. I don't really feel like doing this extra thing right now because I don't want to. I feel lazy or whatever. But if you're able to be like, you know what, I don't really feel like going out, but I'm going to try to be open to the experience and see how it goes. You know, things happen when you go outside. You're going to maybe see something cool. Maybe you'll learn something awesome. Maybe you'll, have a really cool conversation that changes your perspective on something, yourself, maybe even, So all these things, you can, like how to climb. Again, you can insert your game here afterwards. You can insert life afterwards. You can insert being a student afterwards. Like all these things that we're talking about, they don't just apply to games, although that's what we're applying them to. But if you think about it, if you can apply what you're doing in game and take those same lessons and do it into your life, now you're climbing Tamagotchi style IRL. Okay, so I put here, find your improvement. It's important that you go out and look for it, because what you look for sets your intention, sets your perspective. And if you can constantly look for your improvement and acknowledge that you're improving, and I think at the same time, allowing yourself to feel it, because sometimes, when we're improving, we're doing the things, we're making the changes, we don't actually allow ourselves to like, yes, I'm doing it. That feels good. And allowing yourself to feel good, allowing yourself to acknowledge it yourself, to reward yourself, that's super important. Now, that's different than bragging. It's different from being boastful. It's different from being prideful. You being able to see it, you being able to acknowledge it, and it is what it is. I'm getting better. I'm seeing how I'm doing it. This is different than those other things that people may be afraid of, or people may be not liking if they do it. This is not bragging. This is different. This is not being boastful or prideful. This is just allowing yourself to see the changes that you're making and seeing how you're better for it, and giving yourself that pat on the back. That's totally fine. As a captain or IGL, how to tell the teammates how to keep calm and ignoring hate speech after tournaments, because it's still sad. One of my teammates retired from Dota because of one bad performance and getting so much hate speech from YouTube chat. Whoo, that's a big one. That's a big one. I think, again, one thing that might help this, I think, was number 6, what Yami said, blasting your own music. I think it's really hard because sometimes, professionals, or if you're known in the scene or whatever, and you got fans, that like people sometimes will post some really heinous things, or, when you do really bad, or they'll say really great things when you do really well. At the same time, it's really important to understand, why are you reading these comments? What are these comments, doing for you? Are these comments helping you? Are they tearing you down? Are there truth in what they're saying? And if so, what makes it so important to pay attention to them? And I think it's really important to understand too that most of the time when people are saying these mean things, they just think that this person doesn't exist and it's just like some player or whatever. But I think what people forget is that there's an actual person behind, the screen. This player is an actual real live human being, and the things that I can say or say about them might affect them. And for most players and pros, it does. And so I think as a spectator, as a human, to understand that, so you can humanize the person you're saying these nasty, heinous things to, and the suggestion there's don't. And I think as a player, understanding, like, do we have to listen to these things? Do these people actually care about me as a person or as a player, or do they just pay attention to my 30-minute thing that I do? I think it's really important to contextualize or understand where this is coming from. Why are they saying these things? And do I really need to listen? Are these people important? And if the answer is no, then there we go. But if the answer is yes, and you want to pay attention to the hate, why? And something else after losing is that even after a hard loss or whatever with the team or what have you, there's nothing you can say that's going to make that loss feel better. In that moment, the best thing to do after a loss is to take some time off to think about it. I wouldn't even say watch the VOD. And take some time off, chill, understand that this game, this performance, this thing that just happened does not define you, does not define your career. It doesn't define anything. It's just one game. And there will be another. The thing that I love about esports is there's always another game. It's always another chance. There's always another opportunity, And so even though we didn't perform to the level that we wanted to this time, there will be a next time, and we can do that better. Or again, it's not truly a loss unless we don't take anything away from this experience. May it be something strategically, maybe something mechanically, or even may it be something mentally that you want to do differently, or that you want to learn or take with you for the better. I think that's how the best way to handle losses. Damn! Woo! We went some places today. I love how we ended too on number 8, like just talking about things that just come to my mind. And number 8, looking for points of your improvement, or actually acknowledging their things that you're doing that's making you a better player, person, whatever. All right. So, my friends, thank you so much for coming. Maybe that affected him, especially he got that hate speech at 18 years old. Bro, that's so rough. I'm already try all I can do to make him feel better, but sadly no. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Shining, like, I think that's something that, like, they will need to do, or they will need to think about for themselves. I mean, you can be there to help support and to help ask and remind them of, like, who they are as a person, as a player. But at the same time, the only shitty thing is that you might be experiencing something that I experienced too when working with people, is that, like, they have to come to that conclusion. They have to see it. They have to believe it themselves for them to bounce back. And I think that's the hardest part. Yes, sir. My boys gotta blast that music. That's right. Number 6, you have me blast your music. That's your music for yourself. That will help you push you forward. All right, my friends. So if you liked today, I'll be posting, the mind map in my Discord, so you can look at it later, so you can get all these awesome tips and tricks for you, and we can run through them one more time. 1, mentally paint the picture. 2, be open to experience. Number 3, be curious. Number 4, learn how to win and lose. Number 5, be aware of your self-talk and what you're telling yourself. Number 6, Yami, for you, blast my music. Blast your music. Don't let the noise get to you. Number 7, know when to stop. Set some boundaries around that. And number 8, look for points in your improvement. These are the points. Take it true. Like, if you want to go to the Discord and get them later, you can. And also, if you want, like, what I do, what I think, what I say, and you want to work with me and help you find your win condition today, visit my website, PsychSensei.com, and get all the resources too. But I just updated the come work with me or get the consultation, and you can put in all your information and a day and a time that you want to meet. And while you're there, visit, my website. At my website, you can visit all the resources that I have. It's linked to, and I have to put all these commands in later. My YouTube, my Twitter at the PsychSensei, my Discord, my LinkedIn, my Twitter. Oh, sorry, my TikTok, my Instagram, all the socials, baby. So you can be found all there. It's PsychSensei.com. I got you. I have to put that command in. Yeah, there you go. So I'll put that command in. I still have to put all the other commands in for the socials. That's something I definitely need to do this week. Shout out to Rainbow Mao. She's been telling me. Anyway, it feels nice to chat in Twitch. Yes, since I'm always in your Twitter spaces. Oh, yeah, welcome. welcome. Got it. Just joined the Discord. Awesome. Make sure if you join that Discord to introduce yourself. And also, while you're exploring the Discord, Yami, visit the experiments tab. Take my experiment. I'm looking at 5 different aspects of a gamer. It's made by a gamer for gamers like you. You can't game it, but I'm sure you've never seen anything like that. And if you finish them, send me the screenshots at the end. There's 5 different things, and I can send you. I'll enter you in my $100 cash money prize. Yes. We want more streams. Yes. Okay. So if you want more streams, I will be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. PST, and we'll be talking about. We'll be reading an article. I'll release, the topic of that article tomorrow. So we'll be going over an article. I'll be reading it, trying to make it fun, and taking some lessons away for you. And then I'll be back on Thursday, 6 p.m. PST, for the clinic. It was the Tilt Clinic. Now it's just the clinic. Excuse me. And in the clinic, I'll tackle something like anxiety, ranked anxiety. We did tilt last time. And so we can talk about, if you got something, that you want to talk about, we'll, talk about it. I'm thinking anxiety might be the next one, or ranked anxiety or whatever. I'm going to go from there. But if there's a topic you want me to touch in the clinic, let me know in my Discord. Clinic, yeah, baby. That was a purple pouring, revise right there, honestly. Sorry if most of my is pouring, but I know, go celebrate with pouring unless he's here. And you guys decided to watch my stream for his birthday. If not, get the fuck out and go do something fun. Yes, we'll do bet. All right, I'm gonna go back to work since currently 10 a.m. in Indo. Whoa! Babe, man, I'm glad I could start the day with you. Wonderful, Yamas. Yes, and clinic. Absolutely. All right, friends. Well, thank you so much for hanging out today during office hours. And like I said, please visit all my socials. And I'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. PST, for article reading or reading with Ryan. Yeah. All right, friends. Well, please be safe. Have a good evening or good morning, wherever you are. As always, my name is Dr. Ryan Terao, your PsychSensei. Teaching you to think, play, and slay, one game and conversation at a time. And remember, friends, stronger mental wins. All right, friends, take it easy. Love ya. Pieces. Mwah! Bye. Stay warm. And I'll see you mañana, which is tomorrow.